DNS is where a lot of people really get off line and they end up giving up because they don't realize that even though you've bought a domain name and you've bought hosting, it doesn't mean that they're able to communicate together yet. So I call this the mess of DNS. A lot of people are like, I don't really understand what this name server thing is. So here's the way to think about it. Try to simplify it as much as possible. And again, I hope that I'm not insulting anybody's intelligence. I just want to try to build an analogy here that makes it pretty simple. You've got to get your house to match your address, your property to match your address, so that wherever your domain name is initially and wherever your hosting is, they're not connected. They've got to be able to communicate to each other. The address needs to be able to call up the property, needs to be able to locate it, and needs to allow people to be able to see what is on the property. The way that that occurs is through DNS. It's called a domain name server, and it connects the address, the domain name, with the property you're hosting. Look at it like this. The DNS is really a server. It's the butler that comes in and says, I want to make sure that everyone who comes to this domain name is able to recognize the property. And so in video 1, we actually bought a domain name through Namecheap. In video 2, we went and got hosting through HostGator. And now what we want to do is to make sure that these two elements are able to communicate and everything comes online. So let's go and change the name server from our domain name to match what the name server actually is with our new property or our hosting. As you remember from a previous recording, once we got our hosting up, then this was sent to us from HostGator, and right here you have the name server. So this is the link. So I'm going to go there, copy the link, and next we're going to go over to Namecheap, log in, and change our name servers. So here we are at Namecheap. What we need to do is log in. And now my account information comes up. Your account information would come up. Remember, we have created a new domain, number of domains in your account, 1. So click here to view. And once you come to your domain listing, you'll come down to the domain that you've purchased. In this case, the Personal Success Club. We'll click that. And now you're on the page with all of your personal information here. Over here to the side, you'll see under the General Settings, Change Contacts, Transfer DNS to Web Host, Switch to DNS System version 1. Click Transfer DNS to Web Host. Now currently, we are using the name server or the parked service of Namecheap. So now we want to make sure that this is selected. Specify custom DNS servers, your own DNS servers. We'll paste in what we had copied earlier. Now notice when I copied it, I put the slashes in there. We want to make sure that we take those out. Let me copy this again. You'll always receive 2 name servers, and they will be sequential. So this is 1439.websitewelcome.com. This will be 1440. Now, this is not yours. This is not your name on here as far as your exact DNS. So don't copy this screen and say, oh, well, Paul's using that. That's what I need to use. Make sure that you're checking the email sent to you from HostGator and copying the DNS that they give to you. That's what you're going to paste here. Just like we saw in the welcome email sent from HostGator in video 2, make sure that you copy that DNS and you place it here. Then we're simply going to click Save Changes. Okay, it says domain name servers updated. Now it can take as much as 24 or 48 hours for those changes to take place. That's very important to remember. So if you go to your domain name immediately after you've put that in and it doesn't show up, don't panic. Give it a little bit of time to take root. Now, before going to the next video, I do want to encourage you, because sometimes these are the technical aspects that will get people a little bit sidetracked. You can do every single one of these things. As I mentioned at the top of the video page, it's sort of like watching someone install a DVD or a DVR player or a Blu-ray player or whatever to your television set. If you were to simply watch the instructions on video, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense. But once you performed the steps, it would make sense. So just make sure that you're performing the steps exactly like I'm showing you in these videos. Feel free to stop, to pause along the way, watch it several times, and just perform the same steps that I have. All right, see you in the next video. Be blessed.